Hello, and welcome back to the Southern Bible Thumper channel. I'm Cam, and for this video, we will be reading Genesis chapter 50. And Joseph fell upon his father's face, and wept upon him, and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel. And 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 60 days. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die in my grave, which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan. There shalt thou bury me. Now therefore let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again. And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury thy father, according as he made thee swear. And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, and all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house. Only their little ones, and their flocks, and their herds, they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mounted with a great and very sore lamentation, and he made a mourning for his father 7 days. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. And his sons did unto him according as he commanded them. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for a possession of burying place of Ephron the Hittite before Mamre. And Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father, after he had buried his father. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren, and their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of the God of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face, and they said, Behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is the day, to save much people alive. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them, and spake kindly unto them. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house, and Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation. The children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought up upon Joseph's knees. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and God will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land unto the land which he sware to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Summarizing Genesis chapter 50. Joseph wept, commanded Jacob to be embalmed after the required 40 days. The Egyptians mourned 70 days. Joseph told Pharaoh that Jacob requested to be buried in Canaan. Pharaoh gives him permission, and then Pharaoh's servants, the house elders, and the Egyptian leaders went with Joseph by chariot. Joseph and his family and the people that were with him mourned at Atad for 7 days. The Canaanites called this spot Abel Mizraim after witnessing their mourning. When Joseph came back, his brothers thought that he would be angry with them since their father is dead now. His brothers sent a message to Joseph to apologize for how they treated him. Joseph cried, his brothers bowed to him, and they said they were his servants in verse 18. Joseph tells them, "Fear not. Do you think I'm in the place of God? What you meant for evil against me, God used it for good to save people's lives. Now fear not." Joseph comforted and cared for them, spoke kindly to them. Joseph lived in Egypt. He saw 3 generations of his youngest children's children, and he got to see his oldest son's grandchildren. Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel: "God will visit you." And then he died at 110 years old. Joseph was buried in Egypt. Highlights of chapter 50. Abraham purchased a burial plot that was large enough for Jacob, Leah, Rebekah, Isaac, Abraham, and Sarah. So there was some significance in being buried with your family. Joseph and the party that was with him mourned a lot. They gave themselves a chance to mourn, and they even made it into an event. In 50 verse 9, it says it was a great company. They gave themselves space to address the loss of a parent. In 50 verse 3, it says they mourned 70 days. And then in chapter 50 verse 10, it said they mourned 7 additional days, an atad. God gives no command on how long someone should mourn or to acknowledge the loss. Ignores the loss, LOSS. Even the Egyptians mourned 30 days longer than the allotted bereavement period, because the allotted period is 40 days, but the Egyptians mourned for 70 days and then 7 days when they were traveling. So even though he was a pretty, he had lived a long life, it was still painful to lose his parent. But they made sure to give themselves space to address and to feel and to acknowledge the loss. And losing a parent, losing a parent, that's what Joseph did. He gave himself space to acknowledge the loss, didn't rush into healing. They mourned. In chapter 50, verse 15, Joseph's brothers were worried about revenge for how they treated him. They asked for forgiveness, but this was after the fear of Joseph reenacting revenge, or enacting revenge, not reenacting, enacting revenge on his brothers for the way that they've treated him. And Joseph's perspective was truly healthy because that hadn't crossed his mind. He just let them know what you meant for evil, what you tried to do to me that was going to be evil against me. God used it to save people and to save you. I appreciate you taking the time to read with me until this part. We are now at the end of the book of Genesis. We are at the end of Genesis. And the next upload will be in Exodus chapter 1. Have a good day.